What's happening?
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good.
Little getting out of the OH.
Oh yeah. Out here in Boulder, Colorado today. So
beautiful, man. It's all the trees, everything turning colors.
They're starting to.
I was in Park City last week. Unbelievable. The colors, just like it was like changing right before your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I've only been to Denver a couple different times and short trips, nothing that I got to really go out and fully explore the city. But
yeah.
And for some reason, it's always in the fall time when I come out here. So
awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping in, and thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Coaching. Got Mr. Jon Harp on with us, and just wanted to just chat a little bit. We were on earlier this year, and
we were.
I know a lot's happened since. A lot of growth, a lot of exciting things, man. What's the cool things going on in y'all's world?
Yeah, I mean, it's really for us. It's really just kind of trying to focus on the next steps that we have to take as a team, in order to grow and to move with the market and where things are going, and really trying to figure that out. Right. We're doing a lot with internet leads. And you and I talk all the time, but, really trying to put in some more systems, adding more people to help us, run a little bit more efficiently, and ultimately convert more for our agents. So that's kind of what we've been focusing on this year. One of those has been a VA hire that she's 2.5 weeks in. So It's been great.
Man, and that was just for everybody. So you guys are out of Columbus, Ohio. You guys have the largest team in Columbus?
One of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're about 30 agents, give or take. And we're on pace to do about 340, 350 transactions, somewhere around there. About 90 million in volume.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking awesome. And just kind of give a little context, a little bit about your background and your current role within the organization.
Yeah. So for me, I've been in real estate for 10 years. I've actually been with NAEA for all of it, all 10.
Yeah.
So, I was very lucky and fortunate to have you guys helping me. But over the last 10 years, I kind of found that I like selling real estate, but I love helping agents succeed. And I love the coaching and the mentoring of helping them get to where they want to go. It's something that I got lucky. And I had my mentor from day one who invested in me with the coaching and the systems and the leads and all of that. I tell people I never really had a quote unquote struggle as far as, trying to find my way. So that's something that I'm very passionate about now is really helping agents, because I feel like, our industry sets up agents for failure, not for success. And, my goal is to kind of change some of that. And so now what I do is I coach the Columbus House team. I help with accountability, systems, training, onboarding, all of that stuff. And really starting to branch out to other agents, in our market that, to help share what we do with them and to help them put that stuff in their business.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. And, everything's aligning for you for what, kind of what you stand for, what you believe. And, you guys are, we really see the challenge, especially with agents, newer agents. I mean, what's the success failure rate? And then, what are you guys doing to help overcome that as agents, to be able to thrive and succeed? I know one of the projects that we were talking about last time we were on that you actually even executed was kind of that roadmap, that blueprint. Share a little bit
Yeah.
about that and you know, how that came to be and kind of where you're at with it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think most agents, our team, we're very good at helping a brand new agent go from zero to whatever they want. We also have more experienced agents on our team, but they don't necessarily take part in all of the tools and systems, the leads and things, because their business doesn't necessarily need that. But what I found over the last 10 years of really helping agents go from zero to whatever, right? 20 transactions, 40 transactions, 50 transactions, whatever it is a lot of agents struggle with what to do on a consistent basis. Especially if they're not on a team, if they're not doing leads, they don't know what to do, right? They don't know how to focus on those income producing activities. So one of the things that I created was, a fast track 120. It's a guide, a book, a daily success book that has agents focus on 23 different touch points every single day, whether that's direct messages or text messages to their SOI, whether that's commenting on social media posts, whether that's handwritten notes and mailing those out, or phone calls. And that guide is to really help that new agent just kind of stay focused on those income producing activities. Because, I always tell people, freedom is great in our business, but typically if you have too much time on your hands, you're not probably selling real estate. And sometimes that freedom, can really be what kills an agent's momentum, because it's fine if you take a day off today, but when you start letting that bleed into 4 days a week, right, and you're not motivated, that momentum, swings the other way, and it's hard to get it back.
100%. And I mean, essentially what it's doing, if they commit to the process, it's establishing and building the success habits, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's 75 hard for real estate is really what it is, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with 75 hard, it's just the discipline and change of behavior, which is our habits, to produce better results. And I think, that's the thing with a lot of agents getting into the business, man, they just have this, I want freedom. I don't want to be structured. I don't want to be tied down, but that's all good and great, but that's poor habits, which are going to get poor results.
Yeah. And, I always tell people, it's like, in real estate, you really only need to work 3 to 4 hours if you're doing straight prospecting,
Yeah.
And, in the beginning, you're going to have all of that extra time in your day, and you can go in and enjoy it. But when you do that consistent, and that's the part, is people aren't consistent in the activities. But, if you're hitting prospecting 3-4 hours every single day, by day 25, you're going to have some showings and some things rolling in. And then, you're going to have some evening activities, some afternoon, showings and appointments. And, but that 3 to 4 hour window can make you a ton of money in our business. Problem is most of us, we go in, we hit it for 30 minutes. Okay. Then we take a break for 30 minutes, and then, okay, we're going to hit it, for another 30. And then we get distracted by something else. And then we get, we go down the rabbit hole of emails and, social media and all of that. And we're not really hyper focused on just those income producing activities.
Yeah, it really, I mean, it's, I remember I was early on, I was working with, he might've been, I think he was top 5 Remax agent. And he had this discipline about him to where every day he had a 2-hour block, but the objective is however long it took, he set 2 appointments every day. Like that was it. That was his success metric. He came in, nobody jacked with him. He came in, he did that structured for 2 hours, set at least 2 appointments. And then he would jump into, rest of running the business. He would jump into, his huddle, make sure, his support team was dialed in on point. They were executing, answering any questions, getting out on appointments in the afternoon. And I mean, he had pretty, pretty structured life to where, he could shut it down when he needed to shut it down at the end of the day. But it was all built around those 2 appointments every morning that he would sit. And he would just
Yeah.
whatever it took. So it's just getting clear on really what drives success in this business. And I think agents want to try to put their touch on it too much instead of just do the basics.
And I was gonna ask you, because this is something that I always have agents think about is there's so many ways that an agent can go and have success, right? You don't have to be the top listing agent. You don't have to go out and door knock. You don't have to go out and do, internet leads if you don't want to. There's so many different ways to do it. And I always tell agents, pick what you enjoy doing. Focus on 2 to 3 business pillars. Some people thrive, meeting strangers and building that rapport in a 15-second, opportunity to turn into a conversation. Mm-hmm. Other people are terrible at that, right? So like when I'm coaching agents, if they have that outgoing personality and they can build that rapport, it's what pillars do I need to have in my business to focus on to get me in front of strangers that are thinking of real estate and, open houses. They should be doing open houses. They should be going to networking events that's real estate focused, whether that's investors or whatever it is. Buyer and seller seminars. Like I just sat on a panel this week. One of the agents in our market, she does a move down Columbus seminar two times a year. And it's going, target client is the older people that are, downsizing, and, going into condo life or whatever. And she puts on this huge event and she gets 400 to 600 people to sign up each time to talk about that. So, I think about those things, because you've coached so many people. What are your thoughts on, because for me, it's all about, if you enjoy it, then you'll be consistent with it.
Yeah. It makes it more sustainable. I mean, it's a bonus if it's fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where, that piece of motivation, allows us to keep going longer, is right. That if we're spending activities that, it's the proficient and passion, is it, it's a bonus if we can make it fun. Do we love it? Does it not feel like work? Right. Those are all, strong motivational pieces. And I'm with you. Find your jam, find what works. I remember one of Mike's agents got into the business and all they did was open houses. Sold like 62 homes in the first year, just doing open houses. That's it. They structured their whole week. They structured everything, do open houses on Saturday. They would do some follow-up on Sunday, take Monday and Tuesday off, get back at it on Wednesday. And so, I think you have to look at a couple things, what your jam is, right? So you could have somebody that loves text messaging, right? Is great at text to create engagement. And that just sparks a conversation, warms up the opportunity. So it's a more natural conversation. You've got people that are just stone cold, love getting on the phones. You've got, people that are just wired with social to where, creating content at scale and really, really leveraging that piece. Relationships, being involved in the community, giving back, whatever it is. I really think you look at, okay, well, what are a couple things? I mean, Gaydosh, right? Not everybody's wired like Gaydosh, but if you're wired like Gaydosh, like that's an incredible blueprint to follow. Right.
100%.
So I think it's just finding kind of who you are at your core, what you're the best at, and then what are all the ways that we can leverage that ability and, to accomplish whatever the goal is that you want to accomplish. And I think as coaches, that's got to be the most important question with our teams, is helping them get clear on what it is they want to do.
Right.
And it really has to start there. How do you coach through and help newer agents coming in from a mindset perspective and helping them be clear, making sure they're thinking accurately, they're thinking correctly, accurate thought. You go back to, the 28 laws or of, Napoleon Hill's, accurate thought is one of the most powerful ones.
Yeah.
And so how do you help coach agents to keep, perspective, mindset, and not, get too rough on themselves?
Yeah, I think for me, I always try to have the conversation of be true to who you are. and I think social media plays into this. People driving the fancy cars and going on the vacations and things like that. For me, it's like understanding what do you want to accomplish with real estate, and then let's be true to that. And I'm okay if that changes, right? But sometimes agents come in, they're like, I want to go and sell 50 houses a year. Well, they don't know what it takes to sell 50 houses a year, right? Some agents, it's like, hey, I'm happy if I do $60,000, right, a year in real estate. So let's have those conversations. And then to me, it's always about putting those pillars and those activities in place to make sure we're on the path to hit that target. And then it's just a constant, checking in and reminder like, hey, if you're behind your goal, what's going on? Why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? Or do we need to add something else? Or do we need to pivot? Or do we need to have the real conversation of this isn't your goal anymore? And then if that's okay. And if not, what's the new goal?
100%.
Because, one of our top agencies been licensed 13 months, 14 months now. First year in the business, his goal was 50 transactions, and we had an agent on our team that did 49 in a year. And, he saw that, but his first year in, he did 21, and which is fantastic, which is awesome. But he saw what it took to get to 21. It's going to take a little bit more to get to that 50 mark, but it's having those conversations of, hey, is this still your goal? Because this impacts family, friends, you got little ones at home, all of that. What's the ultimate goal, right? Is it, and we talked the other day on our call, is it, most people get into real estate for freedom or money, right? And it's hard to have both. And the only way you really have both is to kind of leverage out and build a team.
Yeah. I mean, I think you nailed it right there, right? You take in all the factors into consideration. Do you see though that most agents aren't clear on a destination, on a point B, realizing where they're at and where they need to get to? You say, hey, I want to sell 50 homes, but like, is that the goal? Like, what's the real goal here?
Right. Yeah, because I think they see what other people are doing at a higher clip, transaction wise or whatever, right? And I think, it's exciting, right? You get into real estate, hey, I can go out and I can make 200, 300,000, selling real estate. But they don't see the behind the scenes grind that it takes to get there, or that the fact that agent's been selling for 10, 15 years and is now to that point. They just see what's going on now. They didn't see what happened before. So I think, for them, it's really showing them what it takes to get there. And then it's having that real conversation of, is that you or not? And is that really your goal?
Yeah, I think that's
for us. So for us, we lean on a lot of social proof on our team. Hey, go out and shadow, so-and-so. Go out and do an open house. Go on showings and listing appointments. Because, the agent that did 49 transactions the 1 year, like, I want to say 75% of his business at that time was buyers. Maybe even higher, maybe 80% was buyers. So it was gone all day, every day, Monday through Sunday, showings. Yeah, I mean, the money was great, but do you want that life?
Right. It's that when you make a decision, right? Most people don't factor in, the secondary impact, the ripple effect.
Right.
If I choose this, they don't realize what's about to come to that decision. Yep. And I think, us as coaches and leaders can, help them understand in the decisions that they're making, that impact. Right. And so, there's a decision-making framework that I really like is, okay, let's get clear on what that really means. Right.
Yeah.
Let's unpack, make sure we understand every word. We know what that is. I think the next step in that decision process is, what's the data, right? Show me the math. because ultimately this is a business decision and business is just math. So show me the math. And then that third part of the decision piece is, what's the ripple effect? If I say yes to this, what's going to happen, right? What things go into motion at that point? And I loved what you said right there. You take in all of the other factors in their life into consideration. And I love sharing the Ironman piece, is that once I understood what all of it meant, I understood the data behind it. Then I had to understand, if I commit to that, what's the ripple effect? Who else is this going to impact?
Right.
And are they okay with it? Am I okay if they're not okay with it? And so just really helping them, to make the best decisions possible. Because I mean, shit, John, I think you and I are the same way. Our goal is to help them collapse time.
Yeah.
And how can we accelerate their goals? How can we get them into success faster?
Right. Yeah, 100%, 100%. We see this a lot with people transitioning out of another career into real estate. They don't understand that, if they're working a 9 to 5 with zero flexibility in their 9 to 5 to be able to do anything real estate related, they may be maxed out at 3-4 clients at a time, because they're only showing from 5:30 to 9 and Saturdays and Sundays. So let's have the honest conversation of, what does that look like? Are you able to scale back to 4 days a week on your 9 to 5? Is there flexibility? What's the number that you're going to need saved up in order to make that jump to full time? And I think some people just think that it's going to be easy, and we know it's not, but it's really just having that conversation. And then for me, it's, hey, we have someone on our team, or I know someone that was in your shoes that came from a career that was close to yours or whatnot, or had the same, work schedule. Go and call them, and they can tell you kind of exactly, how they handled it.
Have you seen with agents coming in, you look at their previous history, their previous track record, has anybody, kind of not been successful at something in their life come over and have success with you? Or is it typically carry over from?
That's a good question. I don't know if we've ever really dove in that deep on, have they tried anything in the past that they failed at and how they reacted to it. For me, my goal, and for our team, is, like you said, is to compress time to get them to where they want to get to. Right. So I can pretty much tell within the first couple weeks of whether or not they're probably going to sell a decent amount of real estate, or a little bit of real estate, or a lot of real estate. And one of those things is I always tell people, like, you need to be doing real estate activities. I don't care what it is. Going back to the freedom, right? Like, the freedom's great, but if you have too much of it, then you're probably not selling houses. But in the beginning, obviously you don't have a ton of clients, but are you in the office? Are you asking the right questions? Are you raising your hand when an agent needs a showing covered? Are you going and volunteering to shadow at open houses? Are you trying to be in and around the business as much as possible? Or are you just kind of sitting back and waiting for something to happen and come to you?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You see it right out of the gate, right? You see, their level of commitment and action or inaction on the activities that matter. I think you see it right away.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, from my standpoint, there's a lot of frustration sometimes, because, there's calls like this. There's our Facebook groups. I lead a clubhouse room every single morning, Monday through Friday, and I have real estate professionals, not just agents, but there's a lot of agents in there in my market that come together, and we literally help each other, and we share ideas, and we share exactly what we do. And I see new agents not even jumping in to even listen, right? There's always an excuse or something. Well, that's when, so-and-so's going to school, or, I got to get this done or whatever, right? And it's like, all you got to do is put AirPods in and listen. I'm not even asking you to talk, but like, just the free information that's out there that people are willing to give, and people not even taking advantage of that. back when I got started, there was some of that, but not a lot, right? It was usually paid coaching or, paid conferences or mastermind events. But now with technology,
you would pay to listen to this type of conversation back then.
Right. Right. And so, it's when I see those agents that are in and around and volunteering their time to help other agents, when they're doing real estate activities on a daily basis, those are the people that typically I see succeed faster because they're in the business. They're, even if they don't have much going on, they're in the business, and real estate stays top of mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, man, it's the whole thing, right? With people is that, I want batteries included, right? I want the operating system already installed. I don't want to have to install it into someone. So I think that goes back getting clear on, within the framework in your model, what are you good with, right? So I was just, Bruce, I was talking with Lindsay about this earlier this week, and they're making a move and putting somebody in head of sales, and that can hold them accountable with the onboarding, with the the heavy accountability in the first 90 days, because that's the key, right? It's the 75 hard, it's the fast track 120, it's whatever you want to call it, but those first 90 days, man, you have to ratchet the accountability in making sure that agents are doing creating the habits that will lead to success. Now, do you maintain a culture of accountability beyond 90 days? Absolutely. But like I'm talking daily, like daily check-in in the morning, daily check-in at the end of the day, like tight, because we're just trying to mold and build those success habits so that and John, this, man, if they will do those activities, they will have business quickly.
Yep. And it's one of the things, in our industry, it doesn't take a ton to make a decent living or make a lot of money, right? I think the hardest thing for me in the beginning when I was selling was to get to that first 100,000, right? And then once you get there, it's pretty simple to continuously hit that, because now you can, right? I was listening, I forget what I was listening to the other day. I think it's an audio book, and he talked about the 4-minute mile, right? Everyone said it was impossible to do. And then once one person did it, I forget the number, there was like 5 others that did it in a couple weeks period or so, something like that, because now the belief was there that they could. Mm-hmm. So, it's getting them in real estate, doing the activities, getting them comfortable and confident, in the lingo and the activities. I don't even coach or teach contracts until we get to that point. I want them to understand scripts. I want them to understand conversations. I want them to understand buyers consultations. We'll get to the contracts when you get to the point of actually getting ready to write one. I'm not even worried. I'm not focused on that. I want you out on the streets showing houses and shadowing on open houses and listing appointments.
Do you see this is why it's so important for newer agents getting into the business to get aligned to a great team?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I tell everyone, whether it's our team or any team, I think there's a couple things that everyone's different. Every brokerage is different. Every team's different, every model. But I think there are a couple things that every agent does need to get started. And I tell people, whether it's our team or another team, be there for 6 months, be there for 12 months. And if a team's not for you, then you had that support to get yourself going.
Yeah, because you can spend more time and energy and effort, like what we're talking about, on the activities that matter, and leverage the team to do the things that don't, right? Those low leveraged activities. We want to spend time.
Yeah, just the support, How do you handle a conversation or an objection or a contract or, a counter offer, an addendum, just some of those small things too, that you may not get if you're just on your own starting out, and then the social proof, like I said, it's, it's just not me, our team. The one good thing about our team was they were 90% of them were brand new agents when they started. So they were in your shoes at one point. They know exactly how you feel, right?
Yeah.
So they're willing to help.
Man, it's creating that culture. I love that framework, the Frank Shamrock, plus minus and equal, model. And this is a good one for everybody listening in, not only for yourself, but can you cultivate that? And you've done this, either intentionally or just by circumstance, because it felt like the right thing. Is that, we all need a plus, right? We all need a plus in our life, a mentor, a coach, somebody that can help us collapse time that
Yep.
maybe has already gone down the path that we want to go down. And then you got the minus is somebody that is just getting in, that's below you, that you can be the plus to, right? Because there's so much power when you're able to teach and give back, right? It just ingrains it into you, because if you have a high level of personal integrity, you're not gonna sleep well at night if you're like, I'm telling this person to do that, but I'm not doing it myself. So
Right.
that kind of helps keep yourself in check. And then the equal is somebody that, man, accountability, right? We're riding together, we're pushing each other, we're trying to get better each and every day. And so kind of fostering that type of environment, that type of culture, man, it's really, really powerful. Now, I think that goes back to, where you're cultivating, leaders within the organization that are, helping cultivate other leaders when you adopt that type of framework.
What was the name of that again? Because I've been saying I believe everyone should have a coach, everyone should have a peer, and everyone should be a coach. But I never heard of what's it called?
Yeah, so Frank Shamrock, in his MMA studios, he has this, when you come in, it's plus minus equal. And he's like, you got to find somebody that's belts above you, that you can, that can mentor you and teach you. You got to find somebody that's just, as soon as you get a little bit ahead of somebody, when they come in, you need a mentor and help them. And then you need to find somebody that's your same ability, to where you guys are pushing each other. And so, you cultivate that environment that's helping each other continuously grow. And that's because if it was just you, with how many agents right now?
We're around 30.
It's mathematically impossible for you to have that impact with every one of those people. You just you run out of daylight. Right. So you have to foster that environment that is doing that work, and that just helps everybody, get to a high level. So that's awesome.
Coaching other agents, just helps you with a ton of stuff in your own business, just communication, understanding. It really helped me become a better real estate agent, when I was selling, because I had to show someone how to run comps, right? I had to show someone how to do showings or listing appointments or buyer consultations, and get that really nailed down, because, it gave me more practice, right? Because every time I sat down with an agent to do a buyer's consultation, to walk them through it, we were probably walking through it 5 to 10 times before they were really comfortable with it. So that just helps me with my repetition of reps, of just getting it down and being more comfortable and confident in myself with doing it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. Shift gears a little bit, man. I know you've been a big proponent of Clubhouse and fostering kind of a community within, and you guys have also taken it offline to actually online to offline, to where you guys are getting together. Man, how is Clubhouse these days?
Clubhouse is great. One of the frustrations for me in our industry goes back to agents aren't willing to share, what they do, to get them to where they're at. Right. And in our market, it's a little bit different. I'm in a bigger city. Our 350 transactions, maybe 1% of market share. And there's so many times and opportunities, to where I'm never going to compete with some of the top agents or top teams, in our market. And Clubhouse to me was an interactive podcast that people came together to share exactly, what's working for them, what's not working for them, and a true I think the word mastermind gets thrown around a lot, but in a true, mastermind setting of, hey, we're just here to grow and to help each other in the real estate space. So, I do have a lot of real estate agents in there, but we also have lenders, home inspectors, home warranty reps, really anyone in there, because we have a painter in there. He's also a licensed real estate agent, but I believe that I can take anything from a different business or a different industry and I can apply it to real estate in our team. What's working over here can work here. I just might have to tweak it here or there. And,
that's where the exponential growth happens, right? So
yeah.
if you just model success within your industry, this is important for everybody listening into this. You're only going to have incremental gains, 6% growth at best if you just model what's going on in the industry. Where you have exponential gains is when you borrow something that's working well in another industry and apply it into your business, right? You have to be always looking, right? It's funnel vision, not tunnel vision. Most agents have tunnel vision within the industry. You got to have funnel vision. What's working outside of the industry? Who's dominating? Who's doing well in other industries? What are they doing? How can I apply that to my business? That's how you accelerate growth. So I love hearing that you're bringing other pieces in that are having success, because if they are vulnerable, open, and share, everybody's going to learn, and being able to, if they implement, are going to be able to really accelerate their growth.
Yeah. So, and it's turned into a community, right? So, every morning, Monday through Friday, we get on, and this is fun. This is something that we did as a team when our team was smaller. We got away from it, but this is something that Cliff had us do when we were smaller. Was every morning we did our daily huddle, and I call it the real estate daily huddle. And we share good news from the previous day, any challenges that we're facing, any goals that we're looking to hit. And then sometimes we branch off into different, topics and conversations based off of, the 10 or 15 people that actually come up on stage that want to share. And, we have top agents and team leads, and we have brand new people that are just getting in or even haven't gotten licensed yet. So it's a great blend, but it's building that community and letting them feel safe and comfortable and being able to share those challenges, to be transparent, right? That's the other thing. Like, we've had a top team in there multiple times come in and said, one of my top agents just left, right? And okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's get the group together. What's going on? Is it a value add, or are they just ready to take the next step, or did they just not fit the team model anymore, or whatever? And that transparency is where we all can grow.
Yeah, it is, man. It's so cool. And for you, kind of leading that, but also fostering the community and cultivating the leaders in there to step up and lead as well. I mean, it's just so important to be able to do that, especially inside of community, right? So you look at Honey Badger Nation, right? Think about all of the leaders and the contributors and everybody pouring in. Yeah, it started off with a pretty rigid, there's rules. If you guys don't know, in the Honey Badger Nation, there's guidelines in there that have to be followed, and we enforce those guidelines. And so, but what's happened is that there's so many people that jump up and contribute, and that's what a true community is, and that's what you're trying to foster and build. That's cool.
Yeah, for me, I'm trying to attack the 87% of agents that don't make it to the end of year 2. Yeah. Right? Like, I think that number is ridiculous. I don't think it needs to be that. What our team does is we didn't invent anything. We get in rooms with other people and they're doing it in their market, and we have conversations and we bring it back and we apply it to our team, right? We're not creating anything brand new here, right? I tell agents all the time, what helped us get to where we're at is we implemented and we executed. That's it. Transaction fees, we charge transaction fees, right? We do a buyer's consultation, a listing presentation, all that stuff should be the same. When Ryan wanted to build the team, it was build it like a franchise, to where I can plug anyone into our systems and they're going to get the same experience. And then going back to, I can sleep good at night knowing that if an agent comes on our team and fails, it's not because they didn't have what they needed to succeed. It comes down to then what's your desires, your motivations, and what are you trying to get out of the business of real estate, right? So, for me, it's going after that 87% and really just sharing.
Yeah.
We charge a $5.95 transaction fee, which is probably one of the highest ones in the city. But, what we do is, here, I'll show you exactly what we do. And some of the guarantees and some of the programs that we offer and why we feel like we're worth another $595 on top of, our real estate commissions, because we actually provide value to a client.
Yeah. And that's the thing most people get tripped up on is, only time, price is a question is when, value is absent, right? In the absence of value, that's when people question price. So we want to make sure that, one, we know what our value is, and then, being able to articulate that value and demonstrate the value, then, pricing is not an issue. So we have to remember that. With the agents and stuff coming in, are there like key characteristics, Patrick Lencioni, the ideal team player, hungry, humble, and smart, people smart. I tend to lean more emotional intelligence with the people smart thing, Coach Burt, humble, hungry, coachable. Are you guys trying to dig with agents? And remember, we were at Build and Tony was sharing, the number one characteristic of the most successful is hungry, how hungry they stay. Do you guys try to, extract that out when you're bringing them in to see,
For us, that's going to be something that we're really focusing on in 2022. Really nailing down the interview process, asking the right questions, and making sure it's just not always a yes. Hey, come on the team. Because it is a lot of time, a lot of energy. But for me, I always think about the agents that maybe weren't in the right spot when they got in and are no longer in the business that could have been rock stars.
Yeah.
Like I think about myself when I got in, if I didn't have Ryan as my mentor and I was on my own, I probably wouldn't be in this business. So at the same time, it's hard for me to say no just because I have a soft spot for, hey, let's bring everyone in. The real estate's been a great thing for me. It's I've been doing it since college, and it's blessed me with what I've been able to do. So it's hard for me to say no to people that are new and coming in or that just want to join our team. But it's something that I think we are focusing on in 2022 and really going to nail down, the questions. And Daniel Beer has 5 questions in the interview process that we took away from his conference he did in Nashville that we went to. And those 5 questions were based around his 5 core beliefs of the team.
I love that. Yeah, it's awesome, man. You gotta have those filters to be able to filter out, to get the best people, because it then becomes about protecting the culture, especially, you guys are beyond that, but even small, right? You've got to align. That's why, we lead everything with our values and making sure that we're asking questions and uncovering people that align to who we are at our core and what we believe. Because, what happens is that if you've got a team member that doesn't believe how things should be versus whoever's running the team, what they believe, that's where that friction happens. So, that's where we have to make sure behavior, we know the vision, we're articulating the vision, we're making sure that they understand what it is we're trying to do and that we believe the same thing, because then that's where the heartbeat, that's where the rhythm really comes. And you mentioned the daily huddles, and that's a great place to constantly articulate that message, right? So they're hearing it every day, what we're doing, what we stand for, what we're trying to accomplish, the path we're on. And so if you guys aren't doing daily huddles within your organization, man, you've got to take those seriously, because that's the reset every day and reminder every day of, what it is we're doing and what we're committed to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm reading the book Start With Why right now. So I'm like halfway through it. And that book has me thinking a lot of making sure that we are reiterating why the Columbus House team, was created, right?
Yeah.
What's you know, the big why behind it? Where do we want to go? What's the vision? And then figuring out, the hows and the what's, we got that part down, but it's making sure that we're always talking about the why.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't read Start With Why yet, this is the first time I'm reading it. I should have read it when it first came out, however long ago that was. But, that's going to be a book that I'm going to recommend to a lot of people that I talk to.
Go and I did an episode with Holly on Find Your Why, a coffee and coaching earlier episode. Go that'll help. Once you get through the book, go watch that. And because that actual conversation that I had with her, it clicked for me, because there's a process to your why. And ultimately the way I understand it to be today is, what are you the best in the world at, so that you can have the greatest contribution? What gives you the most fulfillment? So that really helped me anchor in mine, which is inspire and challenge people to think bigger so that they can transform their business and transform their lives. My unique ability is inspiring and challenging people. And what gives me the most fulfillment is seeing the transformation when somebody transforms their business, but even more importantly, transforms their lives, right? That's what I do. I can
Yep.
help you. I can help you 3x beyond your business, but more importantly, I can help you become a better human being in the process. So when you get through that and you understand it, it's just like, all right, am I making decisions that's in alignment to who I am? So yeah, that's cool, man. I can't wait for you to get through that.
Yeah, it's kind of that. So part of it's funny, part of my clubhouse, we're now having like branch off conversations, and we do local happy hours together, and we have a couple agents that kill Instagram, and they lead Instagram rooms, right, on how to kind of scale your business or become, that stuff's over my head. But we also do a monthly book club, and this is the book that we're reading for this month. And another agent, at a different brokerage actually leads that conversation. And you and I didn't talk about Start With Why, but you got me onto the EOS system, right? And didn't that come from Start With Why? Isn't that how that he created that? Isn't that part of it?
No, that's all. No, it's Coach Burt, right? It's just really an explanation of service, explanation of your value.
Right.
How are you valued?
But I thought in one video he mentioned that it was kind of, he was reading this book and then really had to explain the why behind what he was providing. I may have misheard that, but it was kind of, they all kind of blend together, and it all kind of happened, and it wasn't planned, but it's all going on in my world at this time of like really focusing in on the why. And then, okay, I got that. And then let me explain this of how I do it with the what's and the hows.
Yeah. And leading with what you believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is the why, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, it's, I believe that the industry's broken. I believe that the real estate model is broken. And I believe that everyone should have a coach, should have a peer, and should be a coach.
Yeah. I love that.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing is giving back and helping, those agents that are struggling in the business or new to the business, because I know I got lucky, from day one with my mentor and being with NAEA from jump, and I was doing buyer's consultations on my first deal. Right. And, I had that support.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. I had that support. And I know there's, that's why our failure rate's 87% by year 2, and it doesn't need to be like that, because none of us are inventing anything. We're just copying and tweaking it and putting it in place. And the only difference is implementation and execution, in my opinion. So for me, it's getting that message out and sharing exactly what I know and what we do to anyone.
And it starts with what you just said right there, developing the best habits to get the results, and that's where the Fast Track 120 comes in. Man, I appreciate you jumping in. I know you're out and about in Boulder, and so appreciate you carving out the time to join us this morning. But as we wrap this up, what's the best way to connect with you and connect in access to the Fast Track 120?
So if you want to look into the Fast Track 120, you can go to fasttrack1one20.com, and you can go to there. If you want to connect with me, you can go to thejonharp.com. There's a link to my Calendly in there. I'd love to hop on a call with you guys and help see how I can help your business and where you're at and where you want to get to. If you want to connect with me on social media, it's just Jon Harp.
Perfect. Awesome, brother. Well, you guys enjoy Boulder, get out and explore a little bit, and safe travels back, and can't wait to catch up with you again next week.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
See you, bud.
See ya.